Hola, somos agentes de cambio. I have today as a special guest Dr. John Kennelly from the University of Alberta in Canada. He himself is originally Irish, but he came to Canada. And we are very pleased to have you here, Dr. Kennelly. Dr. Kennelly, I know that you had probably a little bit of a different story as a student, as a as a high school student, university student, and then you traveled to another country and you became a high-ranking professor and a dean in Canada. I would like to know a little bit of that, of your story. I think it will be inspirational for many young kids if they hear it.
Yes, as you said, I grew up in Ireland, where it rains an awful lot, and actually in the southwest of the country, in County Kerry. And at the age of 12, I ended up staying at home on the farm because we were a large family of 11 children, and my father needed the help on the farm. So I actually worked on a home farm until I was 21. It took me that long to realize that my brother was older than me and he was going to get the farm. So I decided, well, I need to get an education. And luckily, during that period of time, just before that, the local university, University College Cork, they had a program where they reached out into the community. So they had a diploma in social studies, and they came to our local town, small town, and they over 2 winters, they put on this program. So I actually went with my father and my brother, and the three of us graduated from this diploma in social studies. So that gave me the passion and the confidence, I guess, I could go to the next step. So I went through night school after that to having gone to another city where I was working on a farm. I went to night school to do my high school, except because I was doing it while working full time. My standard wasn't very high. Nowadays I would never be accepted. Even then I didn't meet the qualifications. But that university I guess, gave me an opportunity. They said, we know you don't meet our standards, but we'll take a chance on you. And so they accepted me, and as a result of that, I was able to go through university. It was difficult, of course, the first couple of years. For example, I was doing first year chemistry and physics without ever having taken chemistry or physics before. But it allowed me to get to university, to get a degree, and then after that to go to graduate studies in Canada. And that changed.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but I didn't want to lose that part that you said, that you didn't meet the standards. They made an exception maybe on you, and you hadn't taken physics and chemistry. And if I were to tell someone now at the higher education institution an example like that, they will say he will never make it up, he will never be able to come up to the level, he will never graduate. But here you are, you're an example that you were able to overcome. There was difficulties, but you overcame all those challenges.
Well, I was so happy that I was given a chance. Of course, I worked very hard. It wasn't easy, but it was a challenge. I wanted to succeed, and I appreciate being given the opportunity. And it was interesting that many years later, when I was Associate Dean at the University of Alberta, and when my job was to be involved in the entrance, accepting students into our faculty, one of the greatest pleasures I had was given a chance to people who didn't meet our standards and to take a chance on them. And by and large, those people that we took a chance on, they did succeed. They found a way, despite the fact that they didn't meet our standards and wouldn't be accepted if we applied the hard rule, they were successful. So I think human beings, if we give them the opportunity, and that's why I think education is so important. First of all, you have to give them the opportunity to get in, and not everybody has the same quality of opportunity in terms of the school they go to, before high school and so on. Maybe they in areas that are not as well off. There's not so many, like in our school in Ireland. There wasn't very much in the line of support and so on. So you were disadvantaged, but given the opportunity, people often in that situation put every effort into it and overcome those obstacles. So I think we need to provide opportunities for those students that are less privileged, and I think if we do so, they will reward us with making a difference in the world.
I mean, you are the example, but you hear the university saying we have the brightest and the best, and in your case,
I certainly wasn't the brightest.
No, well, this is exactly the confusion I find myself involved. I think when you say the brightest, it does not necessarily mean that you were not the brightest because of your mental capability, but of the opportunities that you had before. For example, if you went to a very prestigious high school and your parents had money to train you in taking the entrance exam, probably you will get a very high grade, or your friend will get a very high grade that was in this school, but you will not be able to enter the university, and you will not be able to be heading a confederation of 800 universities. So brightness, I think, it's not necessarily that you cannot pass the exam, and I'm not saying anything wrong about those people that passed the exam very successfully. What really concerns me is taking opportunities away from the people that most need it.
Right, and especially if we just focus on the actual grades, because as you say, the grades are a reflection often of the opportunity people have, and those people that are successful, it's not just the academic standard in terms of their ability to pass exam or memorize that's a predictor of their future potential. It's all the other things that make them special as human beings, and those things are often not measured. Nowadays, I think universities are doing a little bit more, some universities, in trying to look at other qualities other than the grade. But unfortunately, because of the competition often for entrance, at the end of the day, it often ends up being that grade, which, as you said, I agree completely, is a reflection more often of the opportunity they've had. So those people that have opportunities are going to continue to get more opportunities. Those people that are less privileged are never going to be given an opportunity to do well.
So we go back to the first time we met, that you said that education is an equalizer, and all of a sudden we are not equalizing the entrance. So I'm very glad that you are convinced and that you are presiding those universities, and that hopefully the pendulum will go more to the center and be more balanced. And I hope that people that listen to our program, especially people in the administration of higher education, really consider this. We're not saying to change, but let's give opportunities to the less privileged. Let's be more experiential, more, I think when you are encouraged, you are motivated, you are also do better than when you are being punished by anything you say.
And if you think about it, when we talk about nutritional security, environmental sustainability, the great pressures are often in countries that are not very well off, right? Where the very huge population pressures, and so the very place where they needed the best minds and having the best education to solve the problems, they don't have the opportunity to get into the system. Whereas the rich countries with all of the resources obviously have much greater opportunity for that. So
I hope that changes, Dr. Kennelly, under your leadership. Thank you so much for your presence here. Somos agentes de cambio.